The problem with all of this is, if the attack is good, if the attack is sophisticated, you don't see it in your environment anymore. It's not like the ambulance car. There's a reason why this stuff is called persistent. It stays in your environment and grabs the information from your environment. Let's look at some attacks which have been published. The Sony breach. Who remembers this? The PlayStation one. Over 110 million customer records. Do you think the stuff was stolen in a few seconds? No. Actually, a server was hacked, the traffic was forked, and was sent to the hacker. Think about the RSA attack. This was a bad situation. RSA had active malware within the environment. RSA is a security company. And this malware was active for several months and was sending out all the seeds for the tokens. And when RSA discovered it, Art, the CEO on stage, hey, somebody breached us, but it was not serious. 4 weeks later, somebody breached us and maybe it was serious. A few months later, oh, we have to recall all the tokens. But that's how a sophisticated attack is. Even if you figure out that you have been a victim, it will be difficult to do a forensic analysis because the bad guys try to hide the traces and also try to hide what they have been stolen because that's their business model. When we talk about malware, we still talk too much about traditional stuff. And to be frank, we also try to sell you silver bullets. When a security company knocks at your door, they tell you 100%. They tell you all this, bullshit you want to listen to. There is no 100% in IT security. Let's be honest. With modern attacks, you don't have any service interruption. So it's unlikely that you will see even a bot within your environment. Not to talk about a targeted attack, about an advanced persistent threat. The target audience makes it even more difficult to see the attack because it might be only a certain industry or it might be only your company being targeted. So we as a security player, we will not get the sample. How could we analyze something? How could we protect you with signatures? How could we detect you with heuristics if the malware fools us and we don't know about it? We don't have a way to analyze it because we will not get a sample from you. This is why the detection rate with traditional antivirus is less than 10% for APTs within a month. Traditional malware is easy. We are sharing with all the other security players. We are getting about 300,000 samples, malicious samples, in our labs per day. A lot of them are duplicates because we are sharing with Symantec. Symantec is sharing with us, independent security researchers, all of us. Out of the 300,000, 150,000 per day are unique. And we need to generate about 80,000 signatures per day to protect against them. And this is working pretty well. But this is not targeted. Targeted with traditional antivirus, lower than 10% detection rate within a month. So we definitely have to rethink how customers' environment need to be protected. I'll give you some examples of attacks which are called APTs and which have been within customer environment. And for all of this, we have white papers. So if you need to know more about them, just visit trendmicro.com and download them. This was a campaign. It was targeting different industries in different countries. It was likely launched out of China. But as Andrew has mentioned, nobody will raise his hand and say, I attacked this country, or I did cyber espionage on Australia, or New Zealand, or Europe. Nobody will ever say this. Lucky Cat, Tidor, government organizations in Taiwan just before the election. And we call this iSushi. And this is all stuff we know about. There's a lot of stuff nobody knows about. So We have two categories. One is advanced persistent threat. Stuxnet was advanced. It was using zero-day vulnerabilities, and the usage of these zero-day vulnerabilities already gave us an indicator that it likely was a state-sponsored attack. Because buying the zero-day vulnerabilities in the underground market was at least $2 million US. Not many attackers will spend $2 million US to attack somebody. It was persistent. It was on the systems for quite a while. And of course, it was a threat. It was destroying the centrifuges. It was not targeted. Stuxnet was infecting every WinCC system on Earth. The payload was only triggered in Iran. But a lot of states had problems with the power grids due to Stuxnet. Targeted attacks. You don't need a zero-day vulnerability if you are able to do social engineering on your victim. As Andrew has mentioned, somebody sends you an email, hey, I'm an old classmate, click here. And the attacker normally also knows already that you haven't patched your systems. So do you need a zero-day vulnerability? You try that first without. Only if this attempt is not successful, you raise the bar as the attacker till you are in. And if you want to get in, you are getting in. You just drop a USB stick on the parking lot. And guess how many people will pick this up and put it into a company computer? A lot. So forget about your DMZ and your perimeter defense. Targeted is against your organization or against a specific industry. Does not need to be very advanced. The attacker knows what he's looking for, and we make it easy for the attacker by revealing too much, like being on Facebook, being on LinkedIn, making yourself vulnerable by mixing business with private life and revealing all this on Twitter, on wherever. And as Andrew has mentioned, especially the young generation does not have a lot of, I would say, feelings about what to reveal and what not to reveal. They might make your company even more vulnerable by revealing too much. On the other hand, you need to give them the tools, otherwise you're not attractive as an employer. So it's a dilemma. It's the same with bring your own device. If you force all your employees to use BlackBerries, they use the safest device, but they might not like to use BlackBerry. They might not choose you as an employer if they can't bring your Android, if they can't bring their iPhone, if they can't tweet during working hours. It's a balance we all have to find within our environments. The attacker knows what he's looking for. What was South Korea, 20th of March? Was it just hacktivism by a group? Was it cyber sabotage by wiping out master boot records, not only of Windows-based systems, but on Unix-based systems? Or was it actually cyber terrorism? Nobody claimed to be responsible for this attack, but it definitely was destructive. But it also was targeted. It was targeted against banks and television stations in South Korea. And the attacker knew the environment, and they knew that the banks, easy to guess, not only use Windows-based systems. And it was highly destructive. That's why we are talking about it. Just an example. Targeted, but high visibility. And sometimes you actually have an unusual target. You always have this doomsday scenario that somebody is attacking the scatter network of a different country. Who of you has seen Die Hard 4? Where this plant exploded? Guys, it is possible. But do you think that China will nuke US with a scatter attack? It's the biggest export market. They have way too much to lose. They will not do this. Because China is export nation #1 and the receiver #1 is US. Actually, US is not export nation number 2 worldwide. Funny enough, it's my home country, it's Germany. So, but again, Germany also has a lot of intellectual property. So we see a lot of cyber espionage. But we will not see that somebody will destroy our critical infrastructure.